Hi Prajwal, how are you?
Yes, sir, I am fine, sir.
So can you tell
I'm
me
good.
something? Yeah, I'm good too. Thank you. So can you tell me something about yourself?
Okay. Sir, my name is Prajwal Bandewar. I am from Parvani district. I completed my BTech in Electronics and Telecommunication from JSPM College, Pune, and I am a certified software test engineer from well-known organization called as Q Spider, where I have learned about manual testing concept, Selenium concept. After I have hands-on practice on writing a test case, executing the test cases, and what is bug life cycle, and all black box techniques. That's it, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I completed our project.
Mm-hmm. So you completed one project. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Project in software testing?
Yes, sir. In software testing, that is timesheet management tool, where my roles and responsibilities. I have to automate the login page first. Then inside the after the login page, I have to do functionality testing, integration testing, also ad hoc testing like that.
Okay, fine. So can you explain more about your project?
This is the timesheet management tool, sir. They are
Mm-hmm.
used for employees or managers in that company. So first we have to automate the login page with the help of Selenium Java. After that, after the login page, we have to do functionality testing, integration testing, sir.
Mm-hmm. Then,
Then we do also ad hoc testing, and at the last we have to do exploratory testing, sir.
okay. Okay, what do you mean by exploratory testing?
Explore the application and understand the application
Mm-hmm.
based on the understanding, executing the test case and document the test case. And when test engineer don't have any requirement, then he go for exploratory testing.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Okay. So what is the difference between exploratory testing and ad hoc testing?
in exploratory testing we don't have any requirement, but in ad
Mm-hmm.
hoc testing we have requirement. In ad hoc testing, we test the application randomly,
Mm-hmm.
and but in exploratory testing we have to explore entire application. We do ad hoc testing because developer develop the software in one platform, but end of the user use this application in another platform and found the bug. So that's why we have to do ad hoc testing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, sir.
Okay. See, the difference between exploratory testing and ad hoc testing is if you see from the documentation purpose. So in exploratory testing, you would be exploring the application, you would be testing that application, and you will be documenting it so that in
Okay.
future, yeah, so that in future, if anyone else is referring to that particular documentation, they are able to understand the flow of the application and accordingly they'll test. Because for now, the documentation is not available with you. So what's the problem? You have to learn, there's a learning curve for you. You have to explore that application and then you have to test it, right? But for
Okay.
the next people, they will be able to refer your documentation and then they'll be able to test. But in ad hoc, you won't be going for a documentation. Exploratory testing is more of a planned testing. You plan, okay, today you'll be testing this particular module, today you'll be going for this particular functionality. But in ad hoc, planning is not there. Hence, there are chances that you might not get those kind of defects as well. But in exploratory testing, you would get those kind of defects. Is this clear? Hello, Prajwal, am I audible? Yeah. So is this difference clear to you? What is the difference
Yes,
between
sir. Yes.
exploratory testing and ad hoc testing?
Yeah.
Now, you were telling that you have worked on this timesheet project. So
Yes.
can you tell me about the functional test scenarios for the timesheet project?
Okay.
Mm,
First of all, functionality means testing each and every components of an application, like buttons, text box, links. That's it. First of all, I also do functionality testing on login page. Like first I test login text box, then password text box, then also login button text box. After login button, there is one forgot password that also I
Hmm.
checked. After login, I check all the text boxes in the project, all the links, all the buttons, all the drop downs also, radio buttons also. That's
Hmm.
it, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. See, whenever you get this question in an interview that tell me the functional test scenarios of some website, some application, or some software, then you have to speak up the maximum. So you have to think 360-degree, think from
Okay.
positive, happy path, think negative test scenarios, and test and tell those test scenarios in an interview. Because the more you will speak, the more the interviewer will get an idea that yes, he is having good knowledge with respect to the application. So
Okay.
now let me cover few of the scenarios here. So let me share my screen. So is the screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? So if
Yes,
the
sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, so you covered these particular scenarios. One is login, one is logout. Then you
Yes.
covered scenarios such as mm, yeah, then forgot password.
Yes. Button.
Yeah, forgot password button is there. Then you told about change password, hmm,
Yes.
create account. Okay. Apart from this, the other functionalities that would be there in a normal timesheet. Let's go it in a very generic manner because you might be having requirements or the interview might not be having the requirements at that time. So what would happen is in a generic manner, we will see the timesheet will have a factor of hours. So let's say if any employee is coming and he is logging at 10 a.m., he is leaving at 7 p.m. So the work hours at the end of the day should be counted as 9 hours.
Yes.
Okay, that is one of the verification point that you can do. Now, one more checkpoint that you can add is if the employee is taking lunch from 1 to 2. So he's stepping out. So he's logging out at during that particular time. At 2 p.m. He will come again and he will log in. So that 1 hour should not be counted or should be counted. It depends on
It
scenarios to
depends.
scenarios. So that is an open point for discussion. But for here, you have to consider this scenario in testing. Maybe if you don't get this requirement from client side, then you can have a conversation with the client and you can ask them. So this kind of scenario would happen. Do you have to count at the end of the day 9 hours or 8 hours, excluding that lunchtime? Then one more point would be related to the attendance
Attendance.
regularization.
Regular.
So let's say if you are from Pune,
Yes, sir. Yes.
yeah. So currently there is rains there.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So let's say due to the rains, some employees could not come to the office. So they are
Okay.
working from home. So if they are working from home, so from home itself, their timing should be getting calculated. If they punch from home, or maybe they have some mobile application, they are able to log in from home itself. Those kind of things. And accordingly, the system should be updated.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. One more example here can be, let's say uh, they worked from 10 to 7, but when they went to home at 10 p.m., they have to attend one call. So if they attended call from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m., then that 1 hour should be counted in your attendance regularization, right? As a part of that. But so you have to verify all these calculations are happening properly in that timesheet application or not. This all will come in the functional testing itself.
Functionality test.
Now, let's say one more scenario is related to the approval process. There is an employee X who is looking for a leave. So he will request a leave on that particular date and day to the his manager. So then his manager is approving. So accordingly, his system should be updated that he is out of office on so and so date. This is one of the example. The another example can be if the employee takes the leave, avails the leave, he utilizes that leave, and then he comes to the office and then he creates the leave request in the system. So that flow also should be working, right? So you understood the difference between the
Yes,
two
sir.
flow,
Yes.
hmm?
Yes, sir.
That flows. that is approval. Accordingly, you have rejection process. So let's say if any employee's leave is not being accepted, it has not been approved. So what would happen is his leave would be getting rejected.
Rejected.
So whenever the leave is getting rejected or whenever the uh, leave is getting approved, then there should be an email notification going to the person who has applied for the leave and to the manager who has approved the leave. Now there is one
Okay.
more option that you will have in the timesheet as the backup person, that if some employee, let's say X, is on leave, so his backup person Y should be
Why?
available for all those meetings, calls, or any kind of testing that needs to be done. So what would happen is, if you check that checkbox of backup, then the email notification should go to the backup person also, so that he will also be notified, okay, this person is on leave on X day, so I need to take up some of the responsibilities there. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So these kind of scenarios you have to understand and you have to tell them in an interview, right? So you'll be verifying all these things.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, which are the different types of testing that you will perform on timesheet?
First, smoke testing, then functionality testing, then integration testing, also system testing and acceptance testing is also there. After exploratory testing, performance testing I do. After ad hoc testing and compatibility testing.
So can you tell me on a high level what all things you would be testing when you are telling all these types of testing? So what actually you would be testing there?
Sorry, sir, I can't.
Yeah, no
Can you
worries.
repeat?
Yeah. So I'll tell you the answer for this question. See, let me share my screen. Hmm. See, first of all, the functional testing, and we discussed all those scenarios so that you will be testing. Second thing is the data validation. You'll validate the data that has been entered into the timesheet application, that is valid itself. The calculation, the hours or the minutes, those kind of calculations are being done correctly. One more calculation which you can take care is, if you have 30 leaves which an employee can avail in 1 year, if they avail one leave, then automatically the count of the leave should be getting reduced to 29. Then the UI UX, from the usability testing point of view, how is the application? Is it easier to understand? Is it easy for end user to interact with that application, right? What is the responsiveness? Is the application responding properly and within the time limit to the user interactions, to the user commands? Then what about performance testing? So you'll be validating the performance of the timesheet application under different load conditions. So you'll be applying the load. So this is
Yes.
examples of the non-functional testing. So you have load, you have stress testing, you have
Smoke
security
test.
testing, right? So load testing, what you will do is you will simulate concurrent users. You will apply the load with respect to various users and how many users you have to take the load. So that information you would get from the requirement document itself, right? So you'll
Right.
understand that requirement document, you'll get that response. So you'll get the number of users which you have to test, and accordingly, you will be testing with respect to number of concurrent users and the response time. So within how much time period the screen should be getting loaded or the application should be available. So those kind of statistics, those kind of data you will generate and you will put in your test results. Then stress testing, you'll be trying to go beyond the limit and test the application behavior. Then scalability testing, you'll see as the number of users and the data volume is increasing over the time, how the application is responding. Authentication, authorization, you will be validating from the security testing point of view. If only users, those are authorized, authenticate, are able to access the application and provide those approvals, rejections, right? Those kind of things. And vulnerability assessment you'll do, integration testing you'll do. You'll integrate this your timesheet website with other systems like HR system, project management tools. so that everyone is aware about the flow and everyone is aware about the leaves or any kind of uh, work that needs to be done from the timesheet perspective, right? Then regression testing. So whatever bugs you will get them fixed from the development team, you will be doing regression testing to ensure that none of your existing bugs or fixes have impacted your existing features or not. And then you'll also do retesting. So you will be performing retesting to validate that all the things that you have raised as a part of defect and other corner cases also, you will validate to ensure that there is no bug now found. So regression, retesting, you will do integration, performance, non-functional, all those testing you will be performing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now let us move to the next question. Okay, what is acceptance testing?
Testing the application from customer's environment like production environment. That is acceptance
Mhm.
test.
Okay, what are the different types of acceptance testing?
So sorry, sir, I don't know.
Yeah, so let this be an open question for the people who are watching this video. What are the different types of acceptance testing? Okay, now let me give you one scenario. Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah, are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is an app. This is a website, or you can say the application for Disney Hotstar, right? How would you perform testing on this particular application?
Mm. First, I start with smoke testing, sir.
Mm-hmm. So
Uh,
as a part of smoke testing, what all things you will do?
uh, just testing the basic and critical features, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I test the basic and critical feature. After that, I do functionality testing. Check all the buttons. Uh, check all the buttons are working. Page scroll down is not working or not.
Mm-hmm.
After that,
Then
check,
what
check
else?
check the logo of application is proper or not.
Okay. Then
After that, all the drop downs, all the buttons are working or not. That's it, sir.
mm-hmm.
First, that's it I do.
So okay. So tell me one thing. You can see the subscribe button here,
Yes, sir.
right? Now, let's say on Monday when you came, you were able to see the subscribe button. But on
Okay,
Tuesday, you are not able to see the subscribe button. So what will
okay.
you do?
Uh, I tell to the development lead or test lead,
Mm-hmm.
send it to the first prepare report and send it to the development lead or test lead, sir, and
Mm-hmm.
check who's developed this application or not. That's
So you will log a defect. That's what you're telling, right?
yes, yes,
So now before logging a defect, if you are going through the ticket or the user story that the customer had created for the subscribe button, you will
yes,
check if there is any such kind of an update from the customer side that subscribe button needs to be removed from this place to some other place. It can also happen that there is
yes,
a
yes,
change request from the customers and that they want to change the subscribe button from this particular place to some other place, right? So you can get those updates from your QA leads, from your managers, that the button position has been changed or not, right? And accordingly, you would be taking the action. If the position is changed and it's a ask from the client, then you cannot raise the defect for that.
yes, sir.
Hmm? Okay. So now I want you to so are you able to see this form now?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, are you able to see this form?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me the first, the positive test scenarios and then the negative test scenarios for this particular form?
Positive.
Positive and the negative.
First, I check the requirement. In for a first name text box, check how many how many alphabets it accept or not. If he accept 8 to 10 alphabet, then I
Hmm.
check first valid input from write a name to 10 word. After that, I check invalid input. Write a name with 11 or 12 input. Uh, that's it. Do in every text boxes.
Mm-hmm. What else?
And check email. It, first check a valid email, and then check with invalid emails like at the rate without at the rate. Uh, then enter a number in number format also. 10-digit number format accepted. I check with 11 digit, 12 digit, it accept or not. And
So,
date, okay.
yes, yes, please go ahead.
In date format, I check uh, this give us first year, month and day, but I check with day, month and year.
Hmm.
That's it, sir.
Okay. So, from the test scenario perspective, you can validate if all these details you are entering correctly, and then you are clicking on continue button. So is it working fine or not? You
I
can
know.
verify by entering the date of birth, right? So
Okay.
YYMMGD format in the same format. You can verify the first name, last name, email address accepts, sorry, email address accepts alphanumeric special characters. First name accepts alphabetic characters.
Yes, sir.
You can validate the date of birth accepts the numeric characters. You can validate the phone number accepts the numeric characters. And again, you can see enter number in international format. So those kind of data validation you would be testing. For example, see this kind of things.
Yes, sir.
This is
Yes.
the number limit, right? Now, how would you validate these radio buttons?
Uh, so sorry, sir, I don't understand.
Okay, so I'm asking, how would you ensure that these radio buttons are working fine? Mr. and Mrs. These are
Radio
radio.
button mean in that two buttons only one button is clickable, sir.
Right,
Like
right.
we
So
cannot go for two button
yes, so you would validate if only at a time only one option
at a
you are
time,
able
one
to
button.
select. Now consider a scenario that you have this date of birth field. So on Monday, let's say today is Sunday, on Monday you are testing this particular screen. So what you did is you found one defect on date of birth field. Other four fields are working fine, but date of birth field you found one scenario that if you enter the number, still that date of birth is not being taken.
Okay.
Okay. So on the next day, Tuesday, the defect got fixed and it was deployed. You received the build. Now, will you test all the text boxes or will you just test date of birth?
Uh, that time I will check all the text boxes, sir,
Why so?
because I check this change made because of this change. Uh, this uh, there is no effect on other text boxes or not, like regression testing, sir.
Yeah, so you'll do regression testing, but how will you come to know that other text boxes are to be tested or not?
Okay.
Are you getting my question?
Yes, sir. Yes, I getting.
Yeah. See, you have a responsibility for this particular form, and you have to ensure that everything in this form is working fine. So you test it: first name, last name, email, phone number, and date of birth as well. But in date of birth, you got a defect, so you could not sign off this particular user story. On the next day, when the defect got fixed and that the build came to you, then how would you come to know that the date of birth field is only to be tested, or all the four fields, remaining fields, are also to be tested?
Mm. Sorry, sir.
You can, okay. I was telling you can take your time to think, but no worries. See, if you have found this defect fix, and in that
Okay.
defect, you will have a field of impacted areas. If the developer is mentioning these fields as well in the impacted areas, then you will retest them.
Okay.
If the developer himself is not mentioning, then what you will do is you will have a conversation with them. You will identify the defect that is fixed and the changes that are done. And accordingly, you will take a decision whether only one field needs to be tested or all the four field needs to be tested. Now, can you identify the defect in this form? There is a defect in this form. Can you identify the defect?
No, sir. I
See,
don't know.
you are able to see this watermark: enter your
Uh,
first name, enter your
yes, sir.
email.
Enter your last name.
Now here you
Enter.
can see it is written enter your phone number, but enter
Okay.
spelling is not correct,
Yes, sir. Yes.
right? So it's a defect. You have joined from laptop or mobile?
Laptop, sir.
Laptop. Okay, so this is a defect.
Defect. Right.
Okay, now what is the severity and what is the priority of this defect?
Uh, that defect, sir.
This enter your phone number, the
Severity
enter.
is minor, sir, and priority also low
Why so?
because it's not a critical bug or it's not defect on our business or this bug is not our loss on business, sir. That's it, sir.
Okay, so you are
मतलब
telling severity and
means
priority both are low.
low minor.
Okay, what is the difference between severity and priority? First, tell me that, and then we'll come to this question.
Severity means impact of the bug on the customer business because of the bug. There are four types of severity: blocker, critical, major, and minor. And priority means how soon we fix the bug, like high level, low level, high level, mid level, and low level.
Okay. See, the severity for this defect would be low,
Low.
right? Because it is not impacting your functionality. You can still enter phone number and you can proceed ahead.
Yes, yes.
But the priority of this defect would be high because this is the first form that the customer would be dealing with,
Okay.
right? So that's why the
Okay.
priority would be high enough, but the
Okay.
severity would be low.
Okay, sir.
Right? What is the difference between um, smoke testing and sanity testing?
Smoke testing and sanity testing.
Yes, yes, smoke testing versus sanity testing.
Smoke testing is a wide and shallow, and sanity testing it is a deep and narrow. We do smoke testing in early stage, and we do sanity testing in later stage. Smoke testing is done by developer as well as tester, and sanity testing is done by only test engineer. That's it.
What else?
What's it?
Okay. Can you give me an example of a smoke testing and sanity testing? Any
Smoke
example?
uh, like a WhatsApp app. Just we
Hmm.
have to check it is installed properly or not in smoke testing. But in sanity testing, we check all thing logins and also
Okay. So in sanity testing, you will be going for a detailed level of testing. You will be
detail
testing
development.
almost all the features you'll try to cover. But
Yes.
in case of smoke testing, you will be just doing the high level testing,
High level.
right? So that is what you call that as smoke testing and sanity testing. Okay, then load stress we covered. Okay, what is the difference between SDLC and STLC?
Yes, DLC
So
means it
which
is
are
a
the
process.
phases? Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Tell
it
me.
is a process of software development life cycle.
Hmm.
In SDLC, first system study, then feasibility analysis, then design, then coding, then installation, and then maintenance. In STLC, it is a process of software test life cycle. In STLC, first system study, then prepare test plan, then writing a test cases, then prepare RTM, request traceability metric, then after test execution, then defect tracking, after that test execution report, and at the last retrospective meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That
Okay, fine. What is defect life cycle?
uh, first test engineer found a bug and he prepared the report and send it to the development lead and set the status as open. And after that, development lead read the report and understand the report and send it the developer who has this developer this application and set
Hmm.
the status as assign and send it to the that developer, and developer read the report and understand the report and open the source code and fix this bug and set the status as fixed and again send it to the test engineer. Test engineer uh, Test engineer again test that bug. If the bug is fixed, then he set the status as a close. If the bug is not fixed, then he set the status as a reopen.
Okay. Okay, then Prajwal, thank you so much for coming today, and I'm done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Uh, just any improvement, sir?
Yeah, yeah. So you have